I'm going to hand it over to our moderator, Robin Wright.
Good morning. I'm Robin Wright. I'm a senior fellow at the United States Institute of Peace, and I'm delighted to be chairing this very timely panel with 4 exceptional people to discuss the issue of Iran, U.S. policy, nuclear proliferation, and what's next. Each one will speak for about 15 minutes, and then we'll open it up to questions. Iran is particularly timely right now for many reasons. First of all, we're in the midst of discussions with Iran, trying to figure out if there is a future in talks and a future in diplomacy. But it also comes at an important juncture in terms of its internal political development. The United States faces the challenge not only of trying to ensure Iran does not develop a nuclear weapon, but it also comes at a time when we face the most vibrant civil disobedience campaign in Iran's revolutionary history over the past 30 years, and how to ensure that dealing with this particular Iranian government does not in the end do harm to a kind of movement that we actually hope is influential in terms of the ideas it represents. Iran is also one of the 2 issues that will most shape the Obama administration's foreign policy. Afghanistan is obviously the second. But the last 5 American presidents have been able to put Iran ultimately on the back burner when they couldn't make any significant progress. Because of the state of Iran's nuclear program, the Obama administration does not have that option. So to discuss the various angles in this challenge, we have 4 very distinguished panelists this morning to address the 4 most important issues. We'll begin with Robert Einhorn, who is the Special Advisor for Nonproliferation and Arms Control at the State Department. Mr. Einhorn has served in a wide range of positions in questions and issues of arms control and proliferation at the U.S. Arms Control and Disarmament Agency, including as a member of the delegation to the Strategic Arms Reduction talks with the Soviet Union. He joined the State Department Policy Planning Staff in 1986, and in 1992 became Deputy Assistant Secretary in the Bureau for Political Military Affairs. From 1999 to 2001, he served as Assistant Secretary for Nonproliferation. He has also served as a senior advisor at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. He is going to address the issues from the U.S. perspective. Then we'll hear from Karim Sadjadpour, an associate at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. Karim was previously the chief Iran analyst at the International Crisis Group when he was based in Tehran. He's also a leading researcher on the leadership in Iran and is the author of a book I recommend to everyone called Reading Khamenei, The Worldview of Iran's Most Powerful Leader. He was recently named one of the young global leaders by the World Economic Forum in Davos, and he's going to address the issue of Iran from Iran's perspective. Hans Blix is a name known to everyone. He heads the Weapons of Mass Destruction Commission established by the Swedish government in 2003, designed to reduce the dangers of weapons of mass destruction. Mr. Blix has a long history working in the field of weapons proliferation. He was Director General of the UN Nuclear Watchdog, the International Atomic Energy Agency, from 1981 until 1997. And in 2000 was appointed the Executive Chairman of the UN Monitoring, Verification, and Inspection Commission. He began his career in the Swedish Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and in 1978 was appointed Minister of Foreign Affairs. He's going to address the issue of the international community and the role of the IAEA. And finally, we wrap up with Jim Woolsey, who has served in many distinguished positions in both Republican and Democratic administrations over the past 30 years. He headed the CIA from 1993 to 1995 under the Clinton administration. He served as ambassador to the negotiations on conventional armed forces in Europe and was Undersecretary of the Navy He is currently active in Washington, serving on the National Commission on Energy Policy and co-chairing the Commission on Present Danger with former Secretary of State George Shultz. He's also on the board of United Against a Nuclear Iran and is currently a venture partner in Vantage Point Venture Partners. Thank you very much, and I look forward to hearing from Bob.
Thank you very much, Robin, and I thank the Middle East Institute for this invitation to appear before you. The United States and its P5+1 partners are pursuing a dual-track strategy for dealing with the challenges posed by Iran's nuclear program. The two tracks, engagement and pressure, are mutually reinforcing. Without the prospect of facing international pressure, Iran wouldn't have sufficient incentive to negotiate seriously. And without our willingness to engage constructively with Iran, we'd have difficulty persuading key countries to apply pressure when and if necessary. A key to our dual-track strategy is unity. The more we and the other P5+1 governments can present Iran with a united front, the more successful we'll be in changing Iran's calculus of costs and benefits. At their meeting in New York on September 23rd, the P5+1 foreign ministers showed unity by reaffirming their dual-track policy, urging Iran to comply with IAEA and Security Council resolutions, and stressing the urgency of Iran taking practical steps to resolve the nuclear issue. 2 days later, at the G20 summit meeting in Pittsburgh, President Obama, Prime Minister Gordon Brown, and President Sarkozy announced that their three countries had presented detailed evidence to the IAEA demonstrating that Iran had for several years been building a covert enrichment facility near the holy city of Qom. Iran's failure to notify the IAEA at the time it decided to construct the facility was a violation of its safeguards agreement. IAEA Director General El-Baradei said Iran was on the wrong side of the law. The revelation of the clandestine enrichment site surprised and, I think, deeply disturbed both the Russians and the Chinese, and helped bring the P5+1 countries closer together in their assessment of Iran's intentions. It clearly put Iran on the defensive. On October 1st, senior P5+1 officials met the Iranians in Geneva. It was the first meeting of this group with Iran during the Obama administration. At lunchtime, for about 45 minutes, Undersecretary of State Bill Burns engaged bilaterally with the Iranian delegation. In the course of the day, the Iranians agreed to three things. First, to hold a second meeting with the P5+1 before the end of October, with an agenda that would focus on nuclear issues as well as other issues that any party wished to raise. Second, to admit IAEA inspectors to the Qom enrichment site within the next couple of weeks. And third, and most significant, to send 1,200 kilograms of its own low-enriched uranium out of Iran for further enrichment and fabrication into fuel assemblies for the Tehran research reactor, which produces medical isotopes for the diagnosis and treatment of cancer.